I found peace, loving on those who hate me. I found joy, raising babies with an angel on earth. I found worthless, saving dollars on a rock in space. I won't kill for gold, no. No one can tell me that it's over. I know you came back from the grave, and I want nothing if it pulls me away.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to the Q Show. This morning I have with me a couple special guests, Scotty Blinn, Roxanne Coverdale of Black Market 3, and dear old friends of mine, and I mean, what more can ever be said than that? Dear old friends of mine, I don't get to see enough. And so this morning we're going to kind of cover a broad range of topics, catch back, and you get to see it live because we all just scrambled in, overcame technical glitches and problems, and pretty much just scrambled ourselves to get going here.
It was an adventure.
It's it's always an adventure.
Yeah.
But in any case, kind of here we go. So for those, I know there's at least one out there in the world somewhere who don't know already kind of the story of Black Market 3. It's always, I'm always kind of required to take everybody on a trip back through time so we can kind of figure out, hey guys, how is it that you came to be?
Yeah.
Don't go that far, Scotty. I know what you're thinking.
He can go really far back.
Well, I did some reading last night, and I read about the Mississippi Mudsharks, and I remember you telling me about this, but I figured let's let everybody hear it. And
Yeah, sure. I started, it was one of my first professional bands that was my band. I'd
Right.
been in a couple of bands before that from the time I was 17,
Right.
playing in bars, and they'd make me sit outside on the breaks and bring me back in and play on the stage. So I had a really cool band called Bare Bones that was before the Mudsharks. And then, I really felt when I was about 21, I just wanted to, do my...
sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah. The dangers of morning coffee.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of focus on like more of a real traditional blues path. And the Mudsharks ended up being a power trio out of San Diego that took off real quick. So we had little gigs here and there, and within like 6 months, we were already playing some of the best places in town. And within a year, we were playing 7 nights a week.
Wow.
And that was a 4.5 year.
And that's a completely
Running.
original band.
We did a lot of originals, but we did a lot of like classic, blues covers that weren't. We tried not to do the obvious ones, that's a little foreshadowing for Black Market 3 too.
Right.
But we would pick alternative songs from, say, like Freddie King, or whoever we wanted to cover at the time.
Right.
And it just went deeper than just your standard. It started off maybe like T-Bone Shuffle and Mustang Sally, and then we learned real quick it's like, yeah, you know what, every band does that. Right. So what can we do that puts us, sets us apart from what all the other bands are doing? And that band just like took off. We had a real fortunate thing happen to us. One of our best friends owned a glasses manufacturer, eyeglasses, and he had an account with Zeiss lenses over in Germany. And the head of Zeiss was over for a meeting with him, and they came to one of our shows at Croce's Top Hat down in the Gaslamp Quarter, San Diego, and everyone, drinks were flowing. For sure. We had a great show, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, it's like, Scotty, this is Schubert, and we want to bring you over to Germany for the next convention, and you guys are going to represent the cool blue, the sunglasses. Okay, sounds good. Call him up the next morning. Hey, how you feeling? Oh, a little hungover this morning, man. Yeah. So when are we going to Germany? That's just kind of me. It's like, you say it, you're sticking to it. Right? So next thing I know, we're booked for these convention shows, and we fly to Germany. This was about maybe 6 months later.
Right.
And we fly to Germany, and we had one public show that was just ours. The rest of the shows were in these giant like convention halls and symphony halls.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we were with another like a Cirque du Soleil kind of troupe.
Right.
So that was, our first experience of being on a bus and being in, on the road and city to city, and yeah, it was really cool.
First tour was in Europe, actually. Wow.
Yeah, and
It opened doors.
so yeah, it was about 1996. Oh, we made the most of that, man. We weren't over there having fun and like this is cool. And we were making connections, and which parlayed into a year later. We had a booking agent over there. We were hooked up with City Hall Records here. And it was Bear Family Crosscut Records in Germany. And we ended up having 2 #1 selling CDs over the years from that. And then it just, every year a tour, and every year a longer tour. And so when the time came for that to, kind of ran its course, the first go round of that band.
Right.
We had a renaissance about 6 years later. The core guys got back together, and we did 2 more records and 2 or 3 more tours over there. And then I was kind of burned out, and took some time off. It was supposed to be a couple months. It turned into 2 years.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, and that's when Roxy and I'd been teaching Roxy how to play bass, for years.
Right.
And we just started messing around, and I had the idea of, why don't we just learn a bunch of really cool tunes and play like, local coffee houses and stuff, and just keep it low key. And
it's never, he'll always make it sound like it's just a little coffee house. We'll do a little duo thing.
Right.
And then he teaches me enough music for a set and says, okay, I'm booking a tour in Europe. And you're going.
Well, there was some stuff in between there, but when we decided, I had seen an article on this young drummer girl, female drummer in San Diego named Haley Allen. They did a write up on her or something. She was like 20. She turned 21 with us.
Yeah, she turned.
And so she was 20, and got in contact with her and brought her over for an audition. And I just looked at Roxy. I was just like, are you even kidding me right now? Like, she's a whaler. I mean, just like Bonham. Like Black Crowes is her favorite band, and just, total diamond in the rough, but just a natural.
I absolutely
remember?
Didn't she play with you at Block Party, I feel like?
No, that was Rhythm Turner.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Haley, I'll join the band. I'm like, okay. So within a couple months, it was like, we had our first public gig, and how about the first time that we were introducing the band at Chet's Jam in El Cajon, a patio gig, right? And so we got up and did like 3 songs, and it was 105 that day out on the patio.
Oh, geez.
And Roxy's wearing, she's got clogs on right now, but she was wearing
I had these blue suede shoes that I should not have had on.
How high was that heel?
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches, and it was, it was a platform shoe, and I'm carrying a bass, and I've got half of the people there, maybe 50 of the people that were there were family members and friends watching me for the first time. I'm thinking, I am going to pass out from the heat and from just nerves, right? And luckily, Chet, the organizer of this show that day, had this commercial blower that luckily, I think that if that had not been blowing on me, I would have probably passed out. My knees were shaking. My hair, although my hair looked great, my hair was flowing because of the commercial blower that was on me. But it was
it's on YouTube. This is on you. You see her hair, just like everyone's like, look at that rock star.
And I was just like trembling. But I will tell you, from that point on, I said, this is what I want to do all the time. I mean, just, that high that you get after performing, and, you've got the support of your friends and family and people that don't know you come up and go, wow, that was great. And I think I was on a high that whole afternoon and night. I don't even think I fell asleep that night. I was just like,
I remember that.
But
Yeah, you were just
was,
like buzzing.
I was buzzing.
I was like, yeah, that was cool,
great.
man. We got a little work to do, but it was cool.
But I owe Chet. If that blower had not been on me, I would have tumbled.
It would have been a completely different gig.
It would have. I would have said, forget, I'm never doing this again.
105.
So that was the first time, and from there, what
Yeah,
kind of came?
within a year, we did our first album, Songs That Shake the Cage, which she titled. And Roxy's a real creative force, I guess. That's a little cliche,
here,
but
Chris.
she says this. She goes, "This is me. This is you."
You do the work.
I'll get
I
the
got
ideas.
the ideas. But
Yeah, we did that first album and had a tour in Europe booked within a year.
I gotta say, I feel like I remember around this time. Like I knew you guys then. I feel like at least.
It was pretty close to that time
It was
that
right
we got
around
in
the time.
contact with you.
Like
yeah.
how did we get in touch? I forget now.
A friend of mine, Scott Smart in San Diego.
Smart,
yeah,
yes.
Scott was playing the original Brown Quilter
Right.
200, and I sat in on a gig. I was like, "Can I borrow that?" My amp was in the shop. I had a 65 Super.
Yep.
And my 62 Bandmaster. And
I was taking a walk down memory lane on your socials last night, and I saw you saying goodbye to it after you got the Quilter amp. You know.
well, that's a story. But when I used that amp, I was just like, I was so sold. I went, this amp kicks. Can I say ass? I guess I just did,
It's
didn't
okay. Actually, I always have to put it's not made for children.
Okay, good. Yeah, man, the amp was just phenomenal. The tone, everything about it. So he told me, I go, what's the deal with this? And I knew Nathan James is a friend, and he goes, yeah, Nathan turned me on to this amp. And I was like, really? So Scott actually told me about you, and I contacted you. And of course, I'm just some, guy down in San Diego that, is calling you up to talk about an amp endorsement. And, you sent me to, like, you guys had, I forget the name of it right offhand. You had a company that was dealing with your artist management.
Oh yeah,
a separate company.
Artist Relations. Yeah.
That's what it was, Artist Relations. So I got in contact with them, and the lady I was speaking with back and forth,
Tanya.
she was super cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And then I had a phone call, and there was a guy that I think was like maybe the head honcho.
Right.
And he
Randy
got on.
Fuchs, yeah.
What was
Which
it?
Artist Relations, by the way, if you're a musician and you don't know about Artist Relations, drop whatever you're doing, get on their socials, get on their website, and go visit. They literally know everyone in the entire industry. So that was, at least I would always, and I still do, even though we're not working with them anymore, I highly, highly love and respect what Artist Relations has done and is doing, both for manufacturers and for
the artists.
And for the artists, because they really are an enormous top-notch. And incidentally, that's why I immediately said, "Oh, you got to." It was more because I wanted you to talk to them.
Yeah, well, and I figured too. It's like, what a great service to really, I could only imagine the amount of people trying to contact you guys, and I know how it is too.
You can only imagine.
Where I work now, it's kind of like, I get inundated all the time.
Yep.
Hey, you think you can set me up with an artist? And it's like, okay, I totally get it. So to be able to vet who you're speaking with and dealing with, and making sure that they're going to do the promotional job if there's going to be an artist deal.
Yeah, artists haven't got a raise since 1968. It's Pat's famous saying, but it's so true.
So when I did get that phone call, and I'm sorry, I forgot the gentleman's name that I spoke with.
It would be Randy, most likely. Yeah.
I think that's who it was. This is years ago now, and so Randy, like, he grilled me. Like, Tanya was super nice, like, always like, hey, and just to let you know where we're at, and things are moving forward. Everything looks good, sounds good. Do you think you could add some more dates to your tour on your web? Yes, I can do that. And this guy just got on the phone and just hammered me like I was, looking for a freebie, and I got it. Like, something in my head said, don't react, just be yourself and be honest.
Yeah.
And I told him, I go, look, I'm not looking for a freebie. I'm not looking for a handout. What I am interested in at this point in my career is finding musical companies that we can have a partnership where it's a win-win and we promote each other. And I'm telling you, this amp is one of the, like, I'm a diehard vintage Fender amp guy.
Now I wish I had that photo.
You know, and I said, and this amp right here will make my Fender amps stay at home.
Yeah.
Like I believe in what I felt and heard from playing this amp. And next thing I know, you know, we kind of hung up and ended the conversation. Next thing I know, I got an appointment with you.
Yeah.
You called me up.
Which actually was
hey,
great because,
you know?
well, you know, this is, it's one of those lifelong friendships. So
Exactly.
you know, yeah.
So I'm happy I said the right things.
Yeah, me too, actually. It's,
and we came up and met with you.
Yep.
And you took us through, it was at the old lab, the original lab.
The original lab, yeah. At the back of, what do we call it? The back of the shipping department at QSC over there, yeah.
Yeah. So you, we were in the little front area and you had a dry erase board and you're showing me like the physics of how the amp works and how how the amp, the Class D communicates with the speakers, and you're getting real technical and I'm going like, oh, this guy's going to think I'm an idiot, man. I'm going like, Greek. I have no idea. All I know is that I turn knobs and the sucker sounds good.
The crazy thing is, you know, I have known Scott 9 years before we became a couple,
Right.
as friends.
Right.
And in the years that I saw him as a friend, I recognized there were difficulties. There was an uncertainty about what kind of sound he was going to get. His Fender amps were not very predictable. I mean, he would fuss with them, and then when we got together,
bit.
And then he would, you know, after the show, you know, on the drive home, complain about this or that, and I once he started working with Quilter, he never had a complaint. Right. He didn't have to worry about the sound, his tone, what he was going to get from the amps.
This is all true, except I will say, I try not to make like braggy comments. It's just not a good look, but right. I was known for having pretty much like the best tone in San Diego, we'll just say among the best tone with my Fender amps.
But you fought.
With that,
you fought to get that.
We had rooms that were tons of neon, and the 60 cycle hum was just ridiculous.
And it sets the tone.
It totally does.
Right.
For how you're feeling.
And I mean, you know, it's something I used to point out to, you know, back in the day. I would point it out a lot. I don't get as much of a chance to talk with our customers nowadays because, you know, just it's the busyness of business has kind of consumed me. But, you know, the one of the things I used to point out to people is you might sound great at home, right? But the moment that you step out of home and you go down to the bar and the double twinsy refrigerators are going, the deep fryer's going, the microwave's going, the
neon beer songs.
Yeah, I mean, everything else going on.
Everything.
If you ever walk out back of like a small club like that, and it's not just small clubs, you know, it's really kind of any facility that's in a shared power situation. Go listen to the transformer out back. Because you walk out and it goes, you hear it going, ee, like it's, you know, screaming for its life, you know, in the back of the venue because it's overpowered. Yeah. And I had done a study at one point in time here in California. Actually, this would be a good time to do such a study because we're in the middle of a heat wave. And I think Pat had wanted to know what was the average power on a stage, the average power in a church on a hot July day. So I said, how hard is it? I just go up and ask people, hey, can I come in? And when I was all said and done measuring the average voltage, it was 85 volts. Not 110 volts as your equipment is designed for, but 85. So for a tube amp, and this is part of the problem, you go and plug into that outlet, and whatever tone you had at home, just turn all the knobs down because it can't even get enough voltage to get the plate grid up to a point where it's actually passing or properly filtering. So it's like someone grabbed all your knobs and turned them for you before you even start.
And how frustrating would that be?
Yeah. And I did this experiment actually when I was visiting one of our major dealers, and I was basically demonstrating how a Mach 3, our current version Mach 3 works. And I brought a Variac with me, and I just started turning it down. And so the Boss Katana that was sitting there, it caved out pretty quick. The Fender, of course, by the time I was down to about 90 volts, I think it was, it just started sounding horrible. Like, it was kind of cool to demonstrate it in real life in front of people's face. But the Mach 3, which I had cranked up, kept going. So I dropped it down to 70, to 60 volts, to 50 volts, to 40 volts. And even I'm going, really? 40 volts and the thing's still going? 30 volts, wow. 20 volts. And finally, it just quietly turned off at about 12 volts AC.
Wow.
I'm going, Pat, you're cool. But I didn't realize how cool the thing was. I couldn't even believe it, right? Oh. And I was kind of explaining to the sales engineers, I guess I'm giving away who I was talking to, that you get a lot of them back. Which there's a funny story there too, because I told the rep like what the actual return rate was that I knew of, kind of from talking to other people in the industry. And the rep, because now I'm going to sound like an advertisement, but I'm not. This is a real story. And I said to the rep, well, here's the actual return rate on like the Blues Junior in this case. And the rep's like, Chris, listen, these people, they sell the stuff day in and day out. They actually know. So like you can't blow smoke, right? You have to kind of come armed with real facts in this case. And so I said, well, take it. You got access to it. Look it up, So he looks it up and he goes, actually, it's worse than you said. And I said, I know why, actually. And it's no fault of the product itself. The problem isn't the product. It's a 70-year-old technology. And I'm an enormous fan of tube amplifiers. They sound great, but they're 70-year-old technology working on a modern power grid.
Yeah.
That is, and that now has to sustain a couple of more people than it did back in the day, 70 years ago, right? So, realistically speaking, we can't expect 70-year-old technology to work kind of in the modern power grid. And I think, and I'm all about tube amplifiers for what it's worth. Like I said, I think they're fantastic. They have a beautiful, glorious sound, and they're unique. It's just that the reality, if you actually go out and play, like you really know this, the ability to just have something that is steady and reliable is kind of, how are you going to?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, where else are you going to get that? You plug it in any voltage and it'll work.
Right.
And I think that, if nothing else, that is one of our strongest,
Oh, it's amazing when we bring them over to Europe, and just we leave our European power cables over there.
Yep.
And just boom, there you go.
I carry my head 4.5 pounds and my carry-on.
I bring two. I bring two of the blocks.
Yeah, actually, I have a slideshow which we'll show here in a couple minutes. But
okay, just real quick, you talked about me selling my Super, right?
Yeah.
And I bought that amp in around '92 for $600, which was, for me back then, just starting out, it was a lot of money. But that amp was like as important to me as my first like Fender Stratocaster that I still have. Right, that I bought the day I graduated high school. And when we were touring a lot and we decided that we were going to buy an RV and just live in the RV and tour, and then park it and go to Europe, come back and tour.
Right.
Part of the deal was that the Super was kind of just sitting around collecting dust, and it needed a lot of TLC.
Yeah.
And I just felt really like, do I hold on to it or do I sell it? Kind of put it into what we're doing. And a friend of mine who's a big sound guy on concerts up in Sun Valley, Idaho, he hit me up, and bought it. So we were on a tour getting ready to head east, and I dropped it off at his guy in Salt Lake City for a nice tune-up, spruce it up, right? And it made its way up to Sun Valley, and then Craig would send me photos of who was playing the amplifier. Like all these big name guys in the concerts that he was backlining. Cool. So I'm like, you know what? Part of me sometimes feels like, oh man, it's a real important part of my history. But it ended up having a whole second life.
Yeah.
You know, and people are enjoying it. And meanwhile, I'm like, me and my quilters, love my quilters, you know. And I've been able to from that whole thing. And you know, when we go on tour, and Roxy and I are doing the whole going to these epic places like Stonehenge or these giant castles, or you know.
I guess it's time for us to roll our.
Oh, you gotta
We have a
that?
slideshow.
Video.
Yeah, I took some time, so here we go. So
the Salt Flats.
Well, it's you did so many.
Yeah, that was out at near Bonneville.
Here we go.
That was the first one.
That was
Oh, that's the Mach 2, huh?
That's the Mach 2 when you had come down.
Oh, look at Mr. Cool. There he goes, Stonehenge.
And who's the
Tetons.
photographer who's getting
Roxy
credit for-
most of the time. That's a cool one.
Yeah, I love that one.
I just I always point out there's kind of a gold standard when you have people that really support your product. You know, it's as manufacturers, we kind of dream of having, you know, people that actually care enough to post about the stuff, to talk about the products, you know. And
I was just thinking about that one.
there you both are.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, it's kind of magic, I have to say, that you know, when occasionally you find somebody who really not only gets it but then proceeds to take it absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know, do the things you'd always hoped they would do with the product, you know.
There you are.
There's
Sash's guitar.
oh, and JHS pedal shirt on.
Oh man, that was in England at a pub in Brighton. That's Antwerp. That's in Paris. That's in Paris. We're nuts. So we take the stuff on trains and there you go.
Right.
You know, we just have our, you know, I'll pick, you know, which one I'm going to bring, or usually I bring my guitar and one of the quilters or two.
It's kind of staggering, though. Like I said, it's I wanted to have like a little bit of a "I've been everywhere, man" going on in the background.
That's funny.
Oh, and then we have you know, bringing us up to what's going on nowadays. Yeah, you guys are about to head out to Europe, and am I allowed to talk about September 5th?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Hacienda on the Hill.
In Lakeside.
Lakeside.
Yeah, it's
Our home venue.
Yep. So you if you get on blackmarket3.com's website, you'll actually be able to take a look at and find out basically what's going on. But September 5th, they kind of have a going away concert, which, you know, by all means, hop in there and take a look. I think that donations are encouraged. And
Yeah, tour's not cheap anymore.
yeah, actually, tell me about tours not being cheap. So I was just talking about this the other day on another episode of The Q Show. And I was saying that a statistic was done, so this might be interesting for you, that 72% of touring artists said they lost money touring.
Which is probably the first time in history, unless, you know, they weren't doing it right.
Well,
You do it right, you make money, you know. And,
well, okay, so tell us, how do you do it right?
okay.
Or maybe don't tell if you don't want the
No,
world to know.
you know what?
No.
I mean, we're all about, you know, we started
Sharing the wealth
during
and-
COVID. We started a company to help out other musicians.
Yeah.
You know, with our social media management company. But regardless, the way that you do it and make money is be aware of booking agents that will get you over there, but you got to rent their van, you got to rent their backline, you got to stay in the house that they provide. So
Right.
it's a hostage situation, and they take a lion's share of the
drive.
money.
I didn't even know this existed.
Oh yeah,
That's how they make
Yeah.
their money. They pretty much control every aspect of the tour, including a driver. You then
you know,
have
you got
to
to stick
pay
with the
for
driver,
their
road
hotel
manager.
room, their food.
I feel like a deer in the headlights right now.
Well, your first time over, maybe it's okay because you're going to be exposed to people and get a foot in the door type situation. But if you stick with that, you're just stupid.
Right.
Sorry if any of my friends are doing that. But I've told you, you know, you have to proactive.
So do you just book your own venue? Are you acting as your own booking? Okay, that's a good start.
We have bookers that help us over there as well, and friends that also are able to.
They're good
get
for
us
a few
into
shows, but
Right.
we,
different venues.
I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
It's quite all right.
We oversee everything, right? So we have A, B, C, D.
Right.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to go from here to here to here. Sometimes there's a little bit of a long haul, but we'll take a day or two off and do it. And then, but I had a really great booking agent for 10 years with the Mudsharks.
Right.
And, the guy did a great job. It was Route 66, one-man operation, Ralph Manti. And, after 10 years, we were kind of like a little more self-sufficient. We knew how to make sure we had a van ahead of time, make sure that we had any places that we needed to stay on days off taken care of. We probably knew at that point, we probably knew the Autobahn throughout all of Germany better than most Germans.
Wow.
They've told us that. They're like
a lot to be said for that.
And then all throughout too. So we just started kind of doing it ourselves, and then that parlayed into this band where, jump ahead when I started, working at Iconic, through the pandemic and stuff, and I told Roxanne, I go, look, if, you want to do the tour stuff, I'm gonna have to have you take care of like a lion's share of it.
Right.
And she just totally took it on and, started booking the tours.
So you're a good booking agent.
Yeah.
So that's the trick is instead of like booking, going through and just call you guys. I'm just playing around.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far, Chris. We're
There
not a
you
booking
go.
agent.
This is where you get into the smart part, right? Like if you have a good booking agent and they take, let's say 20%, even 25 if they're chipping in a little bit for some of the overhead,
right?
It's totally worth it. Especially as a trio,
right?
The way we do it, we save money. It's pretty hard to go over there as like a 5-piece, 6-piece, and the logistics of it alone, just taking care of hotels and the right size van and backline equipment, and then the agents getting 20% on top. That doesn't leave a whole lot for everybody.
And suddenly I feel why bringing your own heads with you is and just getting speakers wherever you're at is.
We store speakers over there.
Even better.
Yeah.
We have backline. I think we have to get the drums. We
have a guy we rent the drums from. He's like a really good friend. He's got a big backline company, and it's a kit that no one ever rents. And it's a beautiful, like champagne sparkle. I think it's a Gretsch kit. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It sounds great. He goes, yeah, no one ever really rents it, so it's just sitting here waiting for you. All right.
But I mean, there you go. I guess ultimately the key lies in kind of in context. So. There's to some degree, this is years of networking at play that kind of gets you through it. To some degree, it's just basically knowing kind of how you get ripped off, which it's a
trial and error.
I was talking with Ron Artis the other day, and that was one of the things he was saying is that he's been given plenty of contracts that, with big numbers attached to it, where it's basically selling away, the entirety of what you've built.
Yeah.
So you wind up working for someone else the rest of your life. And for me, that's been kind of a complaint. I sit outside the music industry as far as like performing and recording and all that sort of a thing. So I have a great many friends who are involved in it, but I personally am not in the midst of it. That's not how I make my living, right? And it kind of dawns on me. There's what was the old saying? There's like crooks down every alleyway. There's like, thieves and murderers everywhere you look. And there's a dark side to the music industry. Believe it or not, it can actually be worse. And so that I think, if anything, is you got to be quick on your feet. But, and actually it's kind of salient because I gave a dear friend some advice just recently, and he was looking to take out a loan, to kind of enhance the things that he does. And I said, no. Listen, if you're going to take out a loan, it has to be to do the things that make you money, right? If you're not taking out a loan to do that, then all you're going to be doing is paying back someone else for things that didn't actually make you money. So that is, even though it's hard, even though you have long days, kind of suck it up and do it yourself. And I think that's kind of become the crux of kind of making modern music, is intelligently do it yourself as much as you can.
Yeah.
Like I keep dreaming and fantasizing, if I can call it that our industry, we could learn to kind of work together, right? So speaking of the block party, where and actually we need to talk about that anyway, where you met with Kevin, right?
Yeah.
From Iconic.
Kevin Proctor, yeah.
Kevin Proctor. So that was kind of an attempt on my part to kind of do that sort of a thing. So we, basically bankrolled the thing, and we said, look, we're just going to set up a whole bunch of booths. We don't care even if you're our competitor. Come on out and do this event, and we'll kind of start building our own show. And my idea behind it was really meant to be more of for us manufacturers who don't have 800-pound gorilla leverage in every major dealer. That's actually a problem. Like that's, for music manufacturers, there's, I can't tell much about it without giving away all my sources and getting myself in trouble, so I won't. But let's just say that there are, for the large brands, they dictate to the dealers what they're going to carry.
Right.
And they have ways of basically preventing you from making progress, even though your product might be better. Even though your product might be better for the customer, they're more interested in making sure they kind of shove down the throat of the consumer whatever it is they need to make money on. And to me, that it's a little heartbreaking that the industry is that way. But as I often point out, the truth is the truth, whether you like it or not. The trick is to understand it, then you can do something, right? And I suppose the same kind of applies in the world of artistry. But the block party was meant to be us just saying, let's have our own show.
Yeah.
Why do we have to go and
Exactly.
spend $10,000, or in our case, I'm talking like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 by the time all is said and done to do a NAMM show. Only to
So
have
you had your little NAMM.
Yes,
your little
but
quilter NAMM.
but so we did our own little mini version of that.
Great time.
And I didn't come away from, you guys actually played at that.
Yeah,
if I
we
recall.
did.
Yep. And I have to say it's a case of me kind of hoping against hope that I could kind of get people interested, and everyone would go, hey, let's do this again. Although I hate to admit that it was it happened to be like one of the hottest days of the year. It was painfully, difficult to get all the stuff set up. And at the end of the day, I have to say, did I feel like it, did a thing for anyone really? Nah. In fact, someone had a guitar that got blown in the afternoon winds and fell
What?
That was Kevin.
I was sorry, Kevin.
It was one of the iconic
Sorry,
guitars.
Kevin.
He just told me about that not too long ago. He goes,
Right.
the wind kicked up and one of the guitars blew off the stand, and
it was on a table that had insult to injury, so it damaged it. Yeah.
Oh.
it wasn't the one that I ended up getting from.
Yeah, which is actually
So that one was there, right?
Yeah, that one was there. So this, where's the camera?
It'll be back behind, pointing right at you.
All right, so this is an original iconic guitar. It's got number 10 hand etched on the neck plate right here.
A little bit that way.
That way?
For the camera. Oh, no, just if you look on the monitor, you'll see. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There. All right. Yeah, it's got number 10 hand etched.
Yeah.
And this guitar, there was two of them. And I met Kevin that day. Roxanne and I met him. And, he said, well, yeah, I live in Carlsbad. And we lived in Lakeside. And kind of the same thing I did when I met you.
Right.
And I said, we got this tour coming up. How would you feel about doing a partnership, with a guitar and whatnot? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So he brought this one down, which is the one out of the two, this is the one that just when I picked it up, I was like, oh yeah, that one. And it didn't look like this when I got it. You see that?
It wasn't pre-relict?
No, not this one. That's a whole nother story, but all on the fingerboard, all this, you can't probably see the checking. This is all, I would say he gave it a little bit of a start.
Right.
But it basically looked like an NOS guitar. Just been knocking around the shop for a while, some dings, here and there, and I've done all this wear on it because the only guitar I've truly played since I think 2016?
2016, yeah.
Yeah. This thing's been in like 13 different countries with me, and I bring it back up just in case I break a string or I want to do like a dadgad tuning.
Right.
And that get, or the baritone. I don't even need the baritone anymore because technology's awesome. The quad cortex and all that, the drop or whatever. But yeah, so this is an original number 10 that he ever made. He made it like before he had a legit shop.
Wow.
I think he was hanging out the garage, spraying nitro, like outside his garage.
Shh, don't say it.
Whatever. I mean, it was, it's a great story.
What, that happened in Nevada?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. But anyways,
I got to say though, Iconic. I not only admired the instruments there at the block party thing that we were doing, but I have to say I've gone on to, because I follow Kevin on I think Instagram or whatnot, and constantly I'm like, I want that. You wanna, if you think you have gas now, go follow Iconic right now. Any guitar you have, no, it just is not gonna.
Well, here's the thing: the whole philosophy behind the company, which I think is with a lot of boutique builders, because think about how many guitar brands are out there and small guys trying to compete with Fender and making basically, just what it is, a good majority of the popular guitars that anyone builds are built off of classics like, Fender guitars and Les Pauls. And, so our whole idea was, what do we love about those guitars and what would we do to best honor those guitars, but maybe make them kind of like with the amplifiers, the 70-year-old technology. It's the same thing. Yep. What do players now, what would make it better for them? What would make it better for us as players?
Right.
And we incorporate some of those ideas into different variations of customization with the guitars. Right. But this one's just straight up like a 56 Telecaster.
Yeah.
But it's called a Tamarack.
Wow.
Right. But, that's the cool thing. Where we are in San Diego County, all the guitars are named after areas and beaches of San Diego. So it makes it a real California, just kind of a
connection.
Yeah, connection to where we live and where we come from.
Right. Well,
so that's the story on this one.
And I think like you got a job there or something at one point, and you were going to stick around for a year.
We thought it'd be 2. I thought it would be 2 weeks. I thought after
my dad even called me up and go,
said, "You
Scott,
never
what are you
worked
doing?"
for anyone in your life. Maybe when you were in college, you worked, but I said, okay, well, if you want to do this, I'm thinking 2 weeks is going to say I'm over it.
So pandemic, right? We'd already made a decision. We came home in December of 2019.
Right.
And going into 2020, and Roxy and I had already made a decision on that tour that we weren't going to play local bar gigs anymore.
Right.
We enjoyed our touring. We played bars on tour because you have to do what you have to do when you're out there to pay gas. Put gas in the RV, and but we didn't want to pay our phone bill and our, any of our bills with just the local gigs that, to me, went from the 90s where every night was like a concert, no matter where you played, and you just walked out there going, I've made it. This is great. To going into places that, you love the people that work there and the people you're dealing with, management that's booking you, but you're in a situation of the pay's not that great.
Right.
And
TVs.
A lot of times they don't want to turn the TVs off. And then you got people that are more interested in sharing YouTube videos with each other sitting at a table right in front of you. Yep. And I told her, I go, like this, I'm losing my passion of playing live.
It can be soulless,
So we decided not to. And then right afterwards, that decision was like putting 6 feet of cement when we lost 200 shows overnight because of the lockdowns and the
pandemic.
When they said, "Oh, we're going to take 2 weeks to flatten the curve," I looked at her and I go, well, I'm going to get my chonies and go get a 6-pack or a case of Coolers, and we're going to be here for a while.
We're going to go to the high
man.
desert and hang out with our percussionists.
Yeah, we couldn't even move back into our house because there was people renting our house that at that point decided to not pay anymore, and we were living in our RV 2 miles away on my friend's property. And then
oh gosh, I do remember. I came down to oh my gosh.
We did that, and then we moved up with Alan, our percussionist drummer. He was one of our our brother. He's one of our dearest friends, and he's got 4.5 acres up there. Man, we just put the RV up on its jacks and just lived there for like 6 months at least, and got super creative.
Wrote a lot of songs.
Did music videos.
Was that when you did Vanarchy?
No, that was before.
That was
before.
Yeah, okay.
That was before.
Vanarchy was a live album that we had done 2 nights back to back and took the best stuff and put out a live album.
Okay.
But we did do that video for The Man Who Sold the World, where we built a whole circus movie set on Alan's property.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
That's
video, on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. The Man Who Sold the World. Great.
Yep.
Like Roxy kicked butt on that one. Yeah, we did stuff like that. We just rediscovered our love of the creative side of music and making music, and we just at that point we decided when we did get back into our house and look at all the brush in the front yard, and just going like, we have 2 acres, down there in Lakeside, and I'm going, this sucks. And she goes, Scott, we need a venue. And I looked at, we were probably drinking wine. I go, yeah, and we had these little rosemary bushes that we bought, 15 years before, that grew into these giant hedges,
Taller
right?
than me. Yeah.
And a ficus tree that was this tall, and all of a sudden it's like up over so like
Near the house roof.
I go, you want a venue? Okay.
I said, yeah, build it, and they will come.
Yeah, I went in the garage and I got some some landscaping tools. I took out that ficus tree and I started taking out, and I was not in shape. Not at all, man. I was like about 220.
I don't know about you guys, but the pandemic, man, when we were in lockdowns, we started making like gourmet food every night.
Oh.
It was not good for me.
Well, let's put it this way. I lost 30 pounds over 2.5 months building out and taking care of projects for 15 years that were sitting there waiting to be done.
Yep.
And it was a glorious time. And now we have an indoor-outdoor venue that's where we do a bulk of our shows. But it's also been good for, like Andy up at it used to be the Old Town Blues Club, now called The Vibe in Temecula.
Yeah.
And he'll book us, several times a year. And we'll do that gig because of the rapport we have with him and the amount of respect that we get. The sound is great. He pays well, and we have a real nice rapport. Then we get a call from the belly up. Why aren't you guys playing here? It's a good question. We'd love to play there. And, we just had the show down at the belly up on it. It was a Wednesday night, but all things considered, it was a great night, and it was fun to do that. So we can pick and choose where we want to play when it's more of a public thing. And then we'll just run the shows like and we got full control of everything at our place. It's great.
Yeah, and actually, I think did you put a stage up?
Mm-hmm.
So is it like permanently?
Oh yeah. We've got light trusses and cemented.
I didn't know it was permanent.
The backdrop is this mountain range.
Yeah,
I need to come.
You need to come down.
I need to come down.
I know.
December.
The airport, you could fly right into Santee.
I love it.
We'll come pick you up. We're like 5 minutes from the airport.
No limo or anything like that.
We're flying down. I've been, for those who don't already know, I've been, kind of steadily working towards, with a few health hiccups. Working towards pilot's license, and so we fly all the time. Like I think the furthest we've gone so far south is Fallbrook, but September 5th we're actually going to be flying out over the ocean to Catalina.
Oh wow!
Oh nice.
So I know you're doing your September 5th thing, and I'm like bummed because I'm like
we're gonna do a holiday show concert
December 13th.
December 13th.
Okay,
so
there you go. I'll mark the calendars, folks.
Yeah.
But cool.
Can I backtrack just 1 second? Because I pulled well, we know a couple people that get a little sidetracked in the story. During that lockdown time when we did all this stuff, Kevin and I were talking, and he had just put out a message about needing a guitar finisher, a paint finisher for the guitars. We got this killer, this killer job that we just, contracted and da-da-da-da. And he and I were talking, and I go, man, I ran a paint shop out of my garage for a while after spending about 9 months to a year at a really high-end hot rod shop in between when I wanted to take a year break from music. And so I had total knowledge of paint finishing. And he said, well, come out and check out the new place, right? So the place is like 8,000 square feet.
Right.
And there was, by the time all was said and done, we ended up with about 15 employees.
Yeah.
And anyways, long story short, after the first day of me, going and checking out what that was all about, I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere for a year. So how about I'll commit to it. I'll commit to a year of being here, and then I'll have to see what the future holds for touring and stuff.
What did you actually tell him at the beginning?
That it was a no-brainer.
No. Well, I don't know if you told me that you said something to the effect, and this is something about if I don't, what did you want? You wanted respect, or you wanted respect? Yeah.
No. Well, I wasn't demanding.
No. But you said.
No, I told him an experience I had, and I'm not going to name names either, right? But an experience that I had, the only other time I had what we'll call a committed place to be for work, employment like that, outside of just being my own employer. The owner was a big fan of my band, but it seemed like the minute I started working there, I was a chump.
Right.
And I didn't get any respect from the owner. And then when I stopped working there, all of a sudden he was like my best friend again, and I just thought it was a really weird thing. But there's a story that goes along with it that, one day he came down, I was like, hey, good morning, so-and-so. And he just walked past me, right? And every day it would be like that. So I said, morning, Scott. And he turned around and he goes, the fuck did you just say to me? And I said, we're okay. He said that they're putting the not for kids, right? And I'm just quoting. That's what he said. It's only a word. And I said, well,
what is it? It's a digital rights fairness or something.
And I'm being really good today.
Yeah, you are.
But, anyways, I said, well, every time you come down here, I show you respect and say good morning or good afternoon or whatever, how you doing, da-da-da, and you blow me off. So I figured I'd answer for you. And I figured pretty much like that was going to be that, pack your stuff and get out of here. But no, at least from that point on, I go, yep, that's what I'd get. Yeah. How you doing? Yep. And anyway, so I looked at Kevin and I go, so you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And he goes, completely, understand. So my year commitment to being there is this September 13th will be 4 years.
Wow.
That I've, stuck it out through the great stuff. We had a minute there that looked like that could be the end of it, and a small handful of it stuck it out. And, with the economy the way it is, it's not easy, but man, we're still cranking out guitars, and I love every minute of, and it takes me 2 hours round trip a day.
Wow.
When I go up there. So that says a lot.
A 10-hour day.
I wrote a whole album doing that, driving back and forth to work, man. So
yeah. Well,
make good use of your time. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'm learning Spanish right now.
Are you really?
Now.
Yeah.
All right. What can you say?
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
You know more than
you go, man.
I actually ordered my meal in full to our we have a local Mexican restaurant that we love, Hacienda Casablanca, tied in with our Hacienda on the Hill. And yeah, man, I was real proud of myself. I ordered my entire meal and had a little conversation with the waiter in Spanish, So
Me da una torta con carne asada sin cebolla, con crema.
But yeah, so it says a lot about the work environment at Iconic.
Right.
And it's great. There's a lot of respect. It's not like, an owner, employer, and his employees. It's like we're a full-on team, and
Well, when you do it right, it feels like you're doing what you love with your family.
yeah,
With your extended work.
I saw the same thing, with you guys.
Yep.
Exactly the same thing. So it's a good, it's a really good thing that we've got going on. And then I can go and do a tour.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, that's nice to be able to have that flexibility to be able to do that, and then have some security in it is actually is something kind of special. Okay, we have to tell the story about stolen amplifiers. Okay, I'm looking at my list. I have a list hiding on the wall above Scotty's head over here that I keep looking up at and to remind myself of what we're talking about today. So, gosh, what was this? 2016. 2016.
Was it
2016? I get a email from one of my dear dealers down south in National City, I think it's called.
Pitbull? Yeah, Pitbull.
Calvin
yeah.
at Pitbull.
Yeah.
Calvin, what's up at Pitbull? Check out Pitbull Audio. I'm like,
It's a cool place.
I pitch everybody else these days. But Calvin says, hey, you guys, why'd you send me all these empty boxes? We're all empty boxes. Actually, the funny part of it is I immediately email my my rep at FedEx and I say, hey, what's going on, dude? Like, why are there products that left my building and now arriving at my dealer with nothing in the box? And he goes, we didn't ship those, dude. And I come to find out that it turns out that we had contracted someone else to do like a LTL less than truckload shipment. And so they, long and short of it, and I won't mention any names, but I probably should in this case. But I basically say, hey guys, what exactly happened here? What between our shop and Pitbull, the products all disappeared, and they're like, we'll look into it and get back to you.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, so then I get on, because we're a little tiny company. Like a lot of times people think, oh, Quilter Labs or this giant corporate. No, we're very much a very small company and overwhelmed at all times. And my wife was asking me last night, like, why is it you get home at 8:30 at night? Because once I get done, with one thing, man, I have to the business is still there. Yeah. If I don't do the work, it doesn't disappear overnight, So in every case, I still have to, I'm the one that has to get it done, and even, there's only so many things you can realistically delegate. And so we're very much a small business, and it kind of offends me to the core that someone would steal our stuff off of a truck. And they, to add insult to injury, they actually took them out of the pallet, taped them back shut again.
Mm-hmm. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it was like a professional operation here. And it was stunning. So the boxes were taped shut and just nothing in them. And knowing that it would take some amount of time, but it didn't take us much time to figure this out. So, we got into this big, Then the next thing I do is, because I'm having none of this, I go, I want to find this fellow who did this. And this feller.
Little feller.
Felon.
So this felon.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, it would be felon. It was definitely enough stuff to qualify for that. So a whole bunch of stuff missing, literally out of the middle of a pallet. So I get on eBay, and as I go on eBay and I start looking for somebody selling some of those particular things, right? And almost within 24 hours, boom, I found a guy that's selling a base block, and he takes pictures of it all around the product. And one of the pictures, the angle, like you could see the angle of the
serial number.
The serial number. And I took it, put it in Photoshop, and tweaked it back, and I printed it out and I scanned it, and it was the serial number that we were missing. And so I said to the guy, "Hey, dude," because I don't have enough sense to just call the police and let them do their job. No. Which is probably good in some respects, but
you probably wouldn't. This wouldn't have happened either, but
well, yeah. So I get in touch and I go, oh man, hey, I've got this gig to do. My amp blew up and I really need this amp. Will you just, I know you only ship, you don't sell anything locally, but come on, I tried the local stores. Nobody has it and I really need this. Talk the guy into it. So he said, okay, I'll meet you at a Denny's parking lot. Was it Denny's?
Yeah, in National City.
So,
Oh my gosh.
Not in a good
City.
area.
So, what did I know? So me being me, the old Marine that I am, I immediately hop into my Jeep and I start driving down south. So I'm basically going to meet this dude and I'm like, probably should have somebody back me up. I'm like, Scotty,
He lives near there.
you live near there. Hey, any chance you'd be willing to just?
Yeah, it was already like 8 o'clock at night too.
Yes, and I'm
And
like,
you called me up and I go, Rox, I'm getting dressed. She goes, what are you doing?
I'm like,
Well,
what are you talking? What are you
well,
doing?
this is what's going on.
So-
And Chris asked my help and I said, do you think we should call the police? And you're like, I'm already on my way down. And I said, okay, that's good enough for me.
So we basically go to ambush the guy, basically, for all intents and purposes, because I know he's selling stolen goods, right? So we go down, and if I remember correctly, I show up at your house, and we took the Suburban, the massive,
Yeah.
like that.
The one I just drove up in today.
And there you go. That thing is like the size of a house.
Yeah,
man.
it's huge.
But I love that thing. It was great. So we drive over. And I think we called the National City Police while we were there at your house, right?
I actually called my friend Curtis, who's a police officer in Chula Vista.
Yeah.
And he said, it's out of jurisdiction. You'll have to, deal with. He goes, you really should have the police deal with this. And I'm like, brother, all I know is one thing. We're down here. We're going to do this thing. And
we called National City
and
Police.
they're like,
are you, look, is your life worth,
Yeah.
this thing that was stolen?
and
And I'm going,
my buddy's life is worth it.
well, I'm just going, at what point where does it end? At what
Yeah.
point do you just stand up and go, dude, you stole this stuff from me. Stop.
Well, not only that, they kept calling and going, they kept saying that there was a unit en route.
Oh,
and, and it was like, you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of calls about stabbings and shootings tonight. That's the area that we were in.
I didn't know this. Okay, I'm freaked out now.
I said, you're not going down there alone, man. We're going to go do this thing.
And there you go. I go in and I talk to the guy and I say, look, I just want to make sure to plug it in, make sure it works, it's all working and everything. I was stalling basically so that you could call NPD out in the parking lot.
I was sitting, what I did is you dropped me off.
Yeah.
You took the Suburban and parked, and then this guy pulled in, and I went and sat on a bench right out in front of the Denny's so I could keep a total eye on you guys.
Yep.
And I'm on the phone with the police, like giving them a phone, like, this is what's going on. Okay, units en route. Okay, they kind of need to get here, or, because I don't know what's going to happen at this point. And then you guys, the two of you, walk directly past me as I'm sitting right here on this bench. You walk right past, didn't look at me, nothing. You went in because you wanted to plug it in and make sure it worked.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting there just going, okay. And then I watch you come back out and you guys go over to the...
Like I stalled as long as I could.
As long as you could.
I
Okay.
thought, what's going on?
This is the funny.
Right?
This is a funny part. Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell them what happened when you went back
I
out to the
just
car.
stall as long as I can in the Denny's. I'm like, oh, I got to run to the restroom. I mean, I did everything I could to just take. And I'm thinking we're
You're
about
like,
to.
would you like to eat? You want us to tell
Yeah,
you?
you want to have
some
coffee?
coffee? Moves over my hammy.
So we come back out, and I'm expecting guns drawn, lights blinking everywhere, red and blue.
They take 'em down.
An ocean. I come back, nothing. Unit en route, my butt. Okay,
Right,
there's actually
right.
a funny. I don't know if I ever told you what happened later, but we'll get into that in a second. But so I come back out, nothing. I basically walk back over to the guy's car. I'm like, all right, dude, look. I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm the CEO of the company that this stuff got stolen from, and I know that it's stolen because my dealer just called me, yesterday morning and told me it was missing out of the box. And the guy's like, "Oh, I bought it from some guy at the
Swap
meet.
Yeah.
That's right. Bought it from some guy at the swap meet, and I don't know anything about that." I'm like, "Do you have the rest of it?" Because there was a lot of stuff actually. There was quite a few amps stolen from that shipment. And he's like, yeah, I have them all. I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold on to this one. you're going to go back home and you're going to go get the rest of them and you're going to come back and meet me here in this parking lot. Like I started getting all like drill instructor with him. I'm like, you're going to do what I demand now, you know? Like not even stopping to think, maybe this guy's going to shoot me, you know?
Right.
Or stab me.
Or maybe just give you this one back and say, F you, I'm out of here.
Which actually, it turns out, is exactly what he was planning on doing. So he leaves, and me and Scotty just sit down at the Denny's and start having a coffee.
Wait, back up a minute.
Okay, go.
When he did that, he threw the bag, the trash bag, the Glad trash bag.
Oh, yeah.
He just went like that into your arms, and he jumped in his car. And I think he had like a Jeep or something.
A truck.
And yeah, he had something like that. And he tears off, and I see you running after him. I'm like, oh shit, this is going down, man. And then you came in, and we went and sat down in the Denny's, and you're like.
Well, and then the funny part of it is he goes and he's like not coming back. Like it becomes really clear after our third or fourth cup of coffee. And we're getting jittery and whatnot.
You had called him first.
I know, but dig this. I already had his number.
You had his number.
So I looked up his info, and then I said, so should I send the police to your house?
Yes.
And I sent him the address, or to your business? And I sent him that address.
Quick thinking.
Which place do you want them to go, or would you prefer both? Because they're here looking for you.
Yeah, that's what we told him. Like, yeah, they're sitting right here, man. They're ready to come get you.
So he comes back and proceeds to give me the rest of the stuff. And, you know, and we kind of settled that all out. But the funny part, there is a punchline to the story ultimately. And that is that but maybe a year or two later, somebody had nominated me for this thing called Leaders at Sea, where they take people, you know, who are leaders in the community and whatnot, and they have them go and kind of do like, it's almost like TED Talks for the U.S. Navy or something to that effect, you know. So they fly me out to an aircraft carrier that's out off the Gulf of Mexico, right? And you know, and you give this little presentation and whatnot, and you get to tour the ships. I got to fly from from the aircraft carrier to like I want to say it was the Indianapolis, but it's my memory is slipping now. But who should be on this tour with me of all people? The chief of police of the National Police Department.
Are you? I don't think I heard this part.
I don't think I've ever told you.
No, I didn't hear this part.
So a couple years later, I'm literally doing like this thing with the chief of police.
No
and I'm like, hey, buddy, we got to talk.
By the way.
So there was this time I had like a whole pallet of stuff stolen, and your people didn't show up, dude, when I'm in the parking lot with the criminal. I did your job.
How do you take that?
Well, it was what do we used to say at the QS? It was an authentic conversation. And I get the feeling that they had a meeting Monday when he got back. They had a discussion about it.
We can't be having civilians
like
being...
I mean, it's pretty bad when, like, not only did I find the stolen goods, within a day, I mean, maybe I should be a police officer. I don't want to do that.
PI or something.
I prefer living. Within a day I found it, but like they offered no help whatsoever. I mean, thank you, Scotty, because we managed to solve the problem by ultimately, you know, retrieving the stuff ourselves.
You rolled the dice, didn't we?
Yeah, well, it's
was really quick thinking, contacting him and saying, hey, their cops are here. Do you want them to go to your home where your wife and family are or work?
I think I actually said that, by the way. I think I said, you want them to go visit, your wife and your kids at home, or would you like them to go to work? Where do you want them to go? He came back.
It took him about almost an hour to come back. Yeah. And I'm like, that dude's going to Mexico. But he showed up, and he did.
It was once I sent him that text, that seemed to light the fire right there. Yeah. And no doubt he was, calling whoever. So, and the rest of that story, because the CEO of the shipping company had come up and said, oh, it's your employees. They did this, blah, 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 blah. And then actually the salesperson, which I will give her credit, she at some point later down the line reached back out to me and said, yeah, we actually found out that it was the driver who did that. Mm-hmm. So he had worked out a ring, and apparently the driver had worked with them for 15 years.
They broke up the ring, yeah.
Yeah, so they called him into the office and bluffed him and said, basically we have this information and we know.
But the guy that you met up with wasn't the driver, right?
He wasn't the driver, no.
Okay.
I think he was involved with that ring. So
he didn't buy those things at the SWAT meet.
No. I'm not buying that.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, but
Crazy
of course,
story.
I shared all the,
Good story.
well, just that's, I don't know. I've always said that, that there's the gold standard of artists that play your gear. And then there's Scotty. This is the guy you call when you're when you've decided you don't like living very much and you just want to like roll down into the hood and like retrieve your stolen goods. All like
Batman
John
and
Wayne.
Robin kind of
We
situation.
you have the photo. I have it somewhere too. The photo
Of all the stuff in the trash bags.
The trash bag and like the manuals were there, the cases were there, the power plugs were there, and the amplifiers. Man, we had it all.
He was all jacked up by the time he got home. He was like, "You're not going to believe what happened."
Yeah, we ended up getting in it like I don't know that we went down there.
I know. I was
about
like, I had my
8
phone
o'clock.
close by
I was home
just
at
in case. I
midnight.
said, call me if anything happens. I'll go down there.
It was so fun. Everyone was like dead as, and we had guests from Germany over at that time too.
Did we?
You did, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I walk in the house and all the lights are out. Everyone's asleep. I'm like, well, welcome home, man.
I was up in my room.
What
I'm
a
sure.
wild
So,
time! Yeah,
that was-
the world of music is such a wild and weird place, and gear gets stolen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be the first to tell you. What am I supposed to say? Don't try this at home, folks. We're what you would call professionals. No, I mean honestly, it's insure your stuff and call it a day. Is my best piece of advice. Don't go rolling down and nowadays, if it were to happen now, I don't know, man. When the question came out, is your life worth this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're asking me the wrong question. Is life worth living in a place where people just steal stuff from you all the time? That's actually the bigger question. So
100%.
if I can, maybe be that one person that just throws a wrench in the works and maybe makes people have to think twice about doing something like that, that's great. But I don't know. There's also a part of me that, especially in those times, because it wasn't exactly, and this is post 2008, so the financial markets had melted down, and people were struggling. So my thing to the CEO, and maybe I'm a softie, whatnot. I don't really personally care, but it just bugs me that I understand that people steal things. I get it. And like my hope is always that it would be because they were desperate. They were so desperate that they really kind of needed to do something. I say my hope is that. My hope isn't that people are that desperate. My hope is that we can look past that and go, you know what, you messed up, but let's square this up and we can go forward. Sure. In fact, I told the CEO, I don't want the guy to lose his job over it. Like if now that you found out what the situation is, and people are like, really? That's it. And it's not me being a softie. No. It's me going, look at how many times I've messed up. I'm a relentless screw up. I'm like hold my beer, driver guy.
we need to show more empathy.
Well, and then that's where I'm just going. I would prefer, because what it did for us is it changed what we do. We actually put hologram labels on our products now. So if you open it, we know you opened it. And for our shipping, we actually got branded tape that now goes over our black plastic wrap, so you don't know what's inside, and it has tape. You can't just do that again. Yeah. It actually caused us to never have that problem again. He actually caused us to use basic shipping, I don't know.
Common sense,
I guess, yeah. So we didn't know what we didn't know, right? And we learned it because of this. And so I actually got something kind of valuable. Yeah. I could have hired a consultant to come in and help us with that and spent way more money than I did because I got all my stuff back. But
so you learned something from all of that, and I bet he learned something from that too, and that is the next time he rips anyone off, give it a week before you start posting it.
If there's a moral to our story today.
Because you would not have been checking every day, or you would have given up after a few days.
He immediately
within 24 hours.
Wow, man.
Less than 24 hours.
So
that was something else. That was one of those life stories.
I'm pretty relentless, dude. I don't know that I would have stopped.
You probably wouldn't have stopped.
I was pretty mad.
You were pissed. That's why I drove. I was just.
The fact that I didn't even hesitate. I immediately got in the Jeep. It was the end of the day, and I just drove straight down. I'm like,
he's on a mission, man. We're going. Oh man, that was great. Hey, can we show everybody these guitars?
So let's talk about the matching set over here.
Yes.
Well, here, I'll hand them to you.
And they sound amazing through our quilter amplifiers that we got pictures with at the belly up the other night.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
So it started off, you know, Roxy became, and I'll let you kind of tell the story. Roxy was asked to be the artist relations person for Iconic Guitars.
Iconic Guitars, yeah. That's become quite a interesting and enjoyable
Adventure.
job that I love, you know, to be a part of a company like Iconic Guitars. They've been great to Scott and of course great to me, and I've met a lot of really great musicians that are on the roster and from all over the world.
Yeah.
Singapore or maybe not Singapore, but people that want to be a part of the Iconic family. So I'll talk to people from all over.
I get to go and get really dirty 12 hours a day. And she gets to talk to like Grammy Award winners and guitar players for King Perry and all this kind of stuff.
I am a lucky girl. But yeah, these are beautiful
So
guitar and
we
bass.
were making this bass. It's the first and only one of its kind that Iconic has done. So it's, you know, modeled after an early P bass, like an early 50s P bass style with more of a, you know, the Tamarack headstock.
Right.
And the Roxy spec'd this thing out herself with the binding and talked about
Flame
that.
maple.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to have it double, you know, binding, and I love the tortoise shell binding on it. The color was a little difficult to get. I took Kevin away from his one of 10 jobs a day to spend time to really get the color that I wanted, and he was patient with me and humored me.
He was super patient. But you know what? That's the one thing I admire.
What color
about
is
you.
that? It's like a rose gold.
It's a rose gold, yeah.
It's a custom rose gold.
Yeah. And
But Roxy and Kevin sat there and mixed until like that was in. We'd spray it out, and she was there. It is.
with all the fumes getting a little high from what I was smelling. But yeah, I love it. You know,
Yeah, and
satin finish neck.
You got to show the back of that neck. We can see it. Yeah, you can see.
Look at that.
Look at the flame on that.
Flame roasted.
One of the guys in the shop, Rob. He does a lot of the neck work and the assembly. And he said, I actually got that piece of wood. Oh, too loud?
Stay on the mic.
Oh, there we go. I thought I was talking too loud. He looked at this neck and he goes, this thing's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
Beautiful.
incredible. Like I've seen flame maple, but I've not seen it, and it moves, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. So at the time that this was happening, I said, we're coming up on our number 1,000 guitar. We got a customer in Dubai that buys a lot of our guitars. And we were going to, maybe you saw it when you were at NAMM.
I think I did, yeah.
It was
That blue.
it's called a La Playa, which is in homage to Les Paul. And it was that white, and it had, the back was white. No, the top was stained blue quilt.
Right.
And on the back was all the grain, the white with the blue grain.
Right.
And I mean, it had every upgrade possible on that guitar. I mean, it was not a cheap guitar.
Right.
As people are like grabbing it down off the wall, it's like, we got to send that to
Thing's
Dubai,
already
man.
sold.
Luckily, we know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I knew we were on the 1,000th one there. So I asked Kevin, I go, kind of have a cool idea. I've got number 10, still with your hand-etched serial number on the back. I'd like to reserve number 1,010.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is number 1,010.
Wow.
And Roxy and I had a thing from the time we started this band. We always, have matching guitars.
Right.
And I was like, dang. So I pretty much had to go with her spec. And I will say, I love it. It's a gorgeous guitar. And it plays like, between the two, it's the same neck profile on both.
Right.
It's kind of in between a medium C and like a full C.
Gotcha.
So a little kind of bigger than the medium. And I mean, the minute it was put together and I played it, it was magic.
Yeah.
And same with her. She's like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Immediately.
So that's the
I
story
mean,
behind
that's
these guitars.
gorgeous instruments, and folks, get out there and listen to them, catch them in Europe, which is where I'm assuming that's what you're taking with you.
Oh yeah,
so,
we'll take them over. We're both kind of like,
yeah. I had a friend just recently had a guitar smashed by
Oh.
not to Delta mention any names or whatnot, but yes, had a guitar smashed just recently, and like had bought this crazy, like hard case, and he's like,
really?
they must have like run it over or
So,
something.
so
Heck.
they checked it.
They made him check it. Yeah,
They
we
made
never
him
do
check
that.
it.
yeah. No,
Yeah, we
it's-
just go. Sometimes we
We
have to
gate
gate check,
check?
but usually they'll put it in the crew closet or I've had a pilot just say, just go ahead and put it in the cockpit here.
yeah. That's because they're up there playing it instead of flying the plane.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but why
That's
not?
okay.
I know
Why
this.
not?
I know this is true. One of my best friends is a captain for Delta.
There you go.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, you fly with me, man. Just make sure that guitar comes up to the cockpit."
That's great, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
A great friend.
so what? Do you, so let's see. You heading to Europe? When do you actually head out for Europe?
September 14th, we'll leave.
September 14th.
Yeah, first show's the
Little over
19th.
And how long are you up there for?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
And what is the general path of Black Market 3 in
We always fly into Brussels,
okay.
and that's kind of our home base is a little bit north of there near Antwerp,
Yeah.
little town called Riet, and our home venue is there, the Ace Cafe.
Nice.
And
We spend a lot of time in Germany. Most
Yeah.
of our shows will be in Germany. We have one in Switzerland. We'll spend some time, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 shows in the UK.
we'll be in 10 days in the UK.
10 days in the UK.
In England.
Yeah.
Not the full UK, but
Well, no,
I wish.
southeast
Yeah.
part of England.
So yeah, England
Austria?
and not this time.
Okay.
No, we did last time.
About 30 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be good. We used to go over and do 30 shows in like 32 days.
Wow.
And it got to a point where when Roxy took the leap of faith and quit her corporate banker's job as a mortgage lender in 2014, she just was like, there was kind of like, it's either this or this. You were given a little bit of an ultimatum, and he said, it's this. And
I really wasn't able to do what I loved about that job, and that was helping people get into their first home or helping them get a better rate and lower their debt. And especially after the real estate market imploded, back in 2007, 2008, it was like harder and harder to get someone approved and close on the loan. And I was just coming home. I'm like, let's go get a bottle of wine, or I need to drink. And we would just start playing, But even before I left the bank, I would work, and I would have to tell the guys on tour, "Shut up! I'm talking on the phone with."
she'd be on the phone with the customer in
I'm
the
sure a
Suburban.
laptop in the van or in the Suburban, depending on where we were. But it was like it just got harder and harder. And I took a leap of faith, and every year I would go, and I kind of kept things separate. A lot of the people that I work with, my colleagues, close friends, knew what I did outside of being a mortgage loan officer, but a lot of people didn't know. But my boss always knew that I would take a couple of months off in the fall to go to Europe, and as long as my pipeline looked good and I had someone taking care of it, they were cool with that. We had a new boss, and she's like, "You're leaving?"
Now's probably not the time for
Probably,
you to leave.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I've got to go, and I'm going to be gone for X amount of weeks." And she was like, "Okay, well, we'll see what happens after you get back."
Yikes.
But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, that was the ultimatum. It's like, stay and keep your job, or leave, and we'll see if there's a job when you come back.
Yeah.
And Roxy's like,
I'm leaving.
I'll roll the dice. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And has never looked back.
It's 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It worked out.
And I love.
I told her when she came home without her
her
laptop that day, I
Yeah,
said,
I said, if I come home without my laptop, you know what?
and I said, well, we need to get real creative right now, and figure out, with both of us being musicians on a musician wage,
Yeah.
what are we going to do to,
It's practically like living in 2025 on the wages from 1968.
yeah. It was, we did it though.
Yeah.
We totally did
Life
it.
is
But
good.
Roxy and I, outside of, our friendship since like 93 and then being together since 2001, we're in a marriage, but we're also like, turns out we're really good business partners.
That's cool.
We get to still do everything except
Well, he listens to me. That's
you do your fair.
Oh,
amount
that's
of
the
listening to
secret.
me,
I
too.
had no
You
idea.
gotta listen to your partner,
It's
especially
just-
if she's your wife.
It's just all based on respect, which goes
Yeah.
back to the whole, why am I, still building guitars at Iconic? Because there's a lot of respect there, and among everybody, and it's.
Well, I got to say, it's and you two are treasures, personally to me. Which we live in a world where we don't take the time to say that, but like I always, and I say this a lot to the people that I love dearly, it's always been too long since the last time. It feels like forever.
And
kinda
time is
has.
going way faster now than it ever
Yeah.
has.
It's- somebody
5
hit the
years?
accelerator
No.
pedal.
How many years did you say the last time we saw? Would have been 2020.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
It was
I
right
think it
around
was.
2020. Yeah.
This is
Crazy,
ridiculous.
Chris. Yeah.
Well, it's part of that is just the busyness of life,
Mm-hmm.
right? We moved buildings, built this studio out
You
of.
and I both got real sick.
Yep.
I had a
Yeah.
canceled tour a week before.
Wait, what happened? I didn't know about this.
In 22
23.
is 23. We had a tour booked, and it was exactly a week. So it was like Friday to Friday. We were supposed to leave the next Friday.
Right.
And I had an issue that was pretty graphic, and I told Roxy, I go, hey man, this isn't right. And I went up to the shop. I should have taken the day off, but I went up to the shop, and she ended up, I had not seen her doctor, and she goes, I got you in. Like, you need to come. And I told Kevin what was going on. He's like, what are you even doing here? So I go down there. I'd been feeling really run down.
Right.
And we had her birthday celebration up at the shop like just the day before.
Right.
And I'm like nodding out, sitting on
Oh,
the couch,
yeah,
just
wow.
kind of like this. And what the hell's going on? So I go down there for the issue, and they took my blood pressure, and it was 249 over 135.
Whoa.
So my issue that I went in for became a non-issue, and they're like, are you feeling okay? And I'm like, I'm just really, really tired, and I got this problem here that we need to take care of. And they took it again, and it was like, that's when it went to the 249 over 135. It was a
Jeez.
little below that. And then they gave me a pill real quick to bring it down, and then sent me on my way to the emergency room, and I got admitted, and I was in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days. And meanwhile, doctor, emergency room doctor, we're going to see what we can do to get you on that plane next week. And I'm looking at her going, no way in hell. Oh, just like magic. And like I could have been on that airplane and had a stroke, or I could have
Oh my
landed
gosh.
in Brussels and been on our first show and stroked out on stage. Because that's what they were telling me. It's like, do you even know how lucky you are that this just got discovered and you're in
Wow.
here? Because you were like seconds away from just like a massive stroke.
Wow.
So I've done my due diligence and immediately, went by the doctor's orders to this day.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years, and my blood pressure is completely normal. All my numbers, I get the blood tests, I don't know, like 3 times a year now. They test my blood and make sure
Wow.
everything just continues on a really good path. So I dodged a bullet, brother. And then
Me
you
too.
ended up in there.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
That was
We have to be our own best advocate.
it's true. It's something I'm certainly like, and that gets a little lost, especially in the world of, in a world of hustle,
Mm-hmm.
where that's what we constantly do. It's and I don't know if if this is the same for women as for men, probably, because you live in a world of hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is the last thing on my list, even now, you think I would have learned my lesson, but even now, like I just go.
Us too.
There comes a day where it's where all this. There comes a day where you have to pay it back for all the rest you didn't take, And that's kind of, I suppose, the scary part. Like, I have an endless list of things that I do personally that I keep constantly. I have more things to do than I'll be able to finish before I die.
Mm-hmm.
And that my theory here, you know, what would we say? My tongue-in-cheek theory on this is, then I can never die. Actually, you can. It turns out, you know, it's a hard, you know, and I won't attribute any of this to my dear friend, but I just had a friend pass recently, Gino. I think actually you were the one that texted me first.
Yeah.
I woke up to Scotty texting me saying, "Hey, in case you haven't heard, you know, Gino passed," and that hit me.
Me too.
Really,
both of us.
Like, you know, it still does. I still have his photo downstairs, and I still walk past it and touch it every time I walk past it, because, you know, the endless hustle will catch up. And so taking that time, you know, to really kind of rest as a practice, first off. But the second one is just to take care of yourself, like the things that your doctor says, like, you know, and mine too. You know, actually, I'm on a bit of a weight loss at a frenetic pace. I'm on a medicine for stabilizing my heart rhythm. But the side effect of it is it like makes food kind of awful to me. And so I've lost 46 pounds.
Well, that's a good
in the
thing,
last
though.
couple months.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It
That's
affects
a lot
the
in
taste
2 months.
buds, or is it more digestive, like
Well,
your taste? Or
Well, without tormenting people with my health woes, it kind of makes you just not want to eat. Basically, I can't stand the taste of sugar. Like it's ick. Although I'm a little bit better now, but than I was.
No, sugar is the devil, man.
Well, and there you go. But like all these things, they eventually catch up, and I think that ultimately for musicians, that's one of the great difficulties is trying to find that balance. It's all fun and games when we're in our 20s, when we're in our 30s, you know. You hit those 40s and 50s, and suddenly things become a bit more challenging.
We're huge on no fast food when we're on tour.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, and then it's like, and you're just going like, oh, I can't eat. I almost don't even enjoy it, you know. But it's pretty much like, you know, in the riders and stuff. Yeah, we hot meals. Like a lot of time we get home cooked meals. Yeah. It's like, and it's it's great. So
you guys do you do tour differently because you actually stay with friends.
A lot of times,
a lot of times, and we've got friends all over.
Or we have days off, and that was the other thing. Instead of 30 shows and 30, that's when you know you're an old guy.
Yep.
Your ass just go like that. But
start whistling.
Instead of the 30 days and 30 shows in 32 days, we'd made that decision, especially since what do we need to be around here for?
Right.
You know, and let's
take a few days.
Take as much time as we're legally able to over in Europe and just kind of live there and bounce around and, play the shows, maybe let's do 4 shows a week instead of, 6.
Right.
And we figured out a way too, you're allowed 3 months in a 6-month period.
Right.
In the Schengen zone, which is all the Western European, like their union, right?
Right.
Except Switzerland. So you can go to Switzerland and those days don't count. Or you can go to England because of Brexit. You can go to England and those days don't count.
And I imagine, given the kind of current world political wash and tumble cycle that we're on right now, it's probably, has that complicated things at all?
It could. We need a special visa.
There's 2, one in England, and I do need to check Switzerland too, but one in the Schengen, you have to get this other visa now. Right. And you can get it like overnight, and it's like €7. It's not even a big deal kind of thing, but it's a little extra vet, kind of thing. And outside of that, the expenses have doubled in the last couple of years. Yeah. We're used to paying when I started touring there, we'd pay €600 or $600 for a plane ticket round trip.
Yeah.
And, maybe $800 for a van for 2 months, total, so $400 a month, right? So that's gone to, this year I'm looking at $6,000 for a van for 2 months, which is part of why September 5th, it's like, you know, and having the people. We're trying to make it a special thing
So
too.
PayPal and Venmo.
Highly
You
appreciate.
guys help Scotty and Roxanne
not
here.
begging for money, but
No.
Joey, he's like, I'm not finding a plane ticket for less than $2,000 round trip,
Yeah.
and that's way more than usual. So it's one of those things. It's like,
What went
is it
from,
worth it?
What
Yeah,
went from
it's-
hundreds has gone into the tens of thousands now. Jeez. And this
With everything.
explains that statistic why a lot of people are losing money doing it.
Yeah, there's just no way
no
around
money to
any of
be-
that.
to be
No
made
matter
for-
how tight your ship is, going over and you have your act together and you don't let people take advantage of you, and you just we just kind of took the route too of maybe things could have progressed farther. But when I look, it's kind of like at friends who have.
Right.
And is their life like any richer or better than mine? I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know, because what we've done is just really homegrown, and the people that we know over there have become like family, like you've become family,
Yep.
Kevin's family, and that to me is like where our riches have come from, the people that we've met and the experiences that we get that are beyond being a tourist in Paris,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, oh, you actually have a friend who lives, in Paris, and you get to go see all the real stuff that the tourists don't get to see, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
Like the catacombs. Oh no, that's a very touristy.
it was touristy, but
Wait, you
It
guys
was
have
fun.
seen the catacombs?
oh, we've been to the
All
catacombs.
right. Once we're done with this podcast, we're going to be here for a couple of hours because I've got to hear all about this.
But truly, we've been accepted into communities throughout different countries, like this one little town in Alfeld, and our friends Henner and Ann and all their neighborhood friends that we've met. He'll do a house concert for us, and sometimes we make like 3 times as much money as a club date.
Oh, I imagine.
And it's not about
And
the
the whole
money.
village shows
But
up at their
it's not
place.
even about this. It's about the money that they know that what we go through on the road and help out with. But we spent all the holidays in Europe in 2019,
Right.
all of them. Thanksgiving, Halloween, which they don't celebrate either one of those, and then Christmas and New Year.
Right.
And one of the coolest things, so many things during that was great, but we played in Alfeld, and then we came back for a couple of days just to visit with Henner and Ann and everybody, and they had a thing called Christmas windows in their neighborhood, and really small little neighborhood, and you go through, everyone has like
display.
very intricate Christmas displays in their windows.
Wow.
So we all go around and we look at the displays and end up at one of the neighbors' house drinking Glühwein.
Yeah. Warm wine.
Yeah.
Cold. You're all wrapped up with scarves and
cookies and all sorts of stuff, and everyone
beanies.
chips in, and it's just like,
it's fun.
dude, it'd be like,
great time.
kind of like Whoville.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's
and then you find the real meaning of Christmas and something like that.
I have to say, it's an older society, it's an older culture, but if there's one thing I can say that I've heard a lot, and interesting, both from the musical aspect and just the personal aspect, is that Europe, first off, has more of an appreciation for live music.
Yeah.
The fact that you're
Absolutely do.
you're like, I don't really want to do gigs here. I get you. My old buddy Gino, he used to say, when you're in Europe, you're a steak. When you're here, you're a hamburger.
You're a hamburger. They say the same thing.
He says it often.
They say the same exact thing, man.
They appreciate our music. They know a lot about our music.
Yeah.
A lot of them seem to know more about it than Americans do. I mean,
Hey, how
they
about
study it.
How about that time in Madrid? We're playing the Wurlitzer Ballroom. This was at the very end of the Mudsharks. And, you want a tour story, I'll tell you that one sometime.
Okay.
But the Wurlitzer Ballroom sounds like a really big, nice hall, huh?
Right.
Dude, it was this tiny little grungy punk club in the center of Madrid. And it was packed with punks that, I'm talking full on Liberty Spikes, the whole shot, blue mohawks,
Wow.
everything. And a punk band opened up for the Mudsharks. And when we started playing, they were singing our songs as we were playing them. that's the appreciation of live music. It's like, how do these people even know who we are? And it was just one of the most amazing. I mean, I'm sitting there just going, holy
A lot of
cow,
them
man.
plan out their calendar for the year of who they're going to go see. Then they learn about the band, or yeah, they're totally loyal, and they're loyal to
Completely different culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one last appreciation story. I mean, I got a million of them, but we stay, our hometown in Germany in the north is a town called Celle.
Right.
And it dates, a lot of the buildings have dates back to like 1560. So it's all the half timber. You go through the historic.
The gingerbread type.
Amazing, right? So
beautiful.
I've been playing there since way, way back. And we have our friend Reinhardt, he's our brother. And we stay with him there, and we make kitchen party. And he always has his internet radio on, and thousands of CDs. That whole wall would be covered in CDs, right? And we just bring out, we get the local beer, and we have kitchen parties, man, and listen to music and laugh and have a great time. And so Roxy decided she's going to make Thanksgiving dinner for me and Joey and Haley and Reinhardt, and then our friend Wolfgang. He's a photographer friend and one of Reinhardt's best friends. So we have Thanksgiving dinner in this tiny little kitchen with this tiny little oven. And when we went to get the turkey, or he was gonna have the local farmer, slaughter a turkey for us.
Right.
And he ordered like what would be equivalent to a 26-pound turkey, right?
Big turkey.
And
We're like,
Roxy's
no, it's not gonna. It's like the door of the oven was the size of a small microwave, like a microwave door. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to fit that big of a turkey in your oven.
So we just get the breast. I will call the farmer, and we will go to the farmer's market, and he'll have it there. And sure enough, like he called, they like fresh freaking turkey that day.
I'm pulling the root of feathers off this breast. I've never done that in my life. I'm like, what am I doing?
And we had Thanksgiving dinner at this table, and I'm telling you, the kitchen is smaller than where that door is to where that
tiny.
And we broke out the little Bluetooth speaker, and I had everybody earlier that day make a playlist of their favorite songs on Spotify, and we took turns going around the table sharing our favorite music. And,
so cool.
And it was just that kind of thing, man. And just soul, and that's what we love, I think, the most over and above playing the shows when we're over there.
Yeah. It really gets down to, and at least in part, that's kind of what the Q show thing is kind of becoming, is getting a chance to kind of sit down with dear friends and catch up, find out what's going on in the world, and it's a chance to kind of take a minute and reconnect, and then I can watch it later and remember.
Storytell.
Well, it's a bit of that.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to wrap this up. So it's if I want to find you, it's Black Market 3, and when I say 3, it's I.
Correct. Roman numeral 3.
Roman numeral 3. So
Roman numeral 3.
Triple I. Blackmarket3.com to catch them on their website. You can catch them on Instagram at, I think it's the same.
Black Market. Same with Facebook. Yeah.
And
make it easy for you.
Make it simple for us. But be sure to check them out. There's if you want to help support them on their tour, there's I think for their venue, they have a Venmo or a PayPal.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Both.
Some do one.
Or more importantly, they've got a venue in their backyard. Go down on September 5th.
Down.
If you're in the San Diego area, don't make the mistake of missing this most critical of shows for this year. And actually for December 13th, I'm just going to go mark my calendar now and make it a point to come down.
If you don't drive down, fly down, and then you can stay over too.
And there you go. Okay, guys. So with that being said, make sure for those tuning in to the Q show, we're actually going to switch it up a little bit. So it's been on the Quilter Labs and New Neighbor channels. We're actually going to give it its own video channel for itself now going forward. So be sure to check out. We'll provide a link later, but I think it's the-Q-show. Because there actually is someone that has the Q show already. So that's the only way we could do it. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. I think we'll be sharing little bits and spots here and there on Instagram and Facebook and all that. But more importantly, thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys next time on
The Q
The
Show.
Q Show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much.
That was great.
Oh yeah, T-shirts. But
T-shirts,
we're
but
rolling out right now.
large.
Just give it a second.
I found peace, loving on those who hate me. I found joy, raising babies with an angel on earth. I found worthless, saving dollars on a rock in space. I won't kill for gold.